Hello DJ Earth here, how are you doodling? Nice to have a little break from Sunderland over the weekend, wasn't it? But I'm going to talk about today how I think like the reason why we have all these manager merry-go-rounds is simple fact is the players have just got it far too easy. You know, it must be great they can just play totally shit and not get the flack for it, and the manager gets a flack for it. If they don't like the manager, it's alright, all we've got to do is just not play, because the managers will get the sack and not us. And it happens right the way across the board. I mean, if I went to work to a factory and I was totally shit, the manager wouldn't get the sack, I wouldn't get another look in. They've just got this, footballers have just got this invisible force field where they don't get touched, they don't get punished or anything. And I think until that changes, I think that's when you'll start to see managers staying longer at the job, because no longer a manager doesn't mean a manager anymore in a dressing room, because the players can soon take charge. If they didn't want a manager, then all they've got to do is just play shite and get the manager out, and it's wrong. They just don't get any punishment or any grief at all, any football player. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't turn around to these players and say, right, get on away you go, or you're not going to play and this and that and the other. They're getting the wages. They're getting played in, week out. They didn't get any flack. You know, I mean, but like take for example like Paulo Di Canio for Sunderland and that. I mean, look, he had some personality on him, right? Yeah, he can be a bit of a live wire, but of course we'll never forget that 3-0 win at St James's Park. And we all know there was a dressing room conflict and that, weren't there? I mean, Bardsley and that, when he was at the casino and this and that and the other, and Di Canio was like speaking out about it, and the players didn't like it, and he was, you know, banning like tomato ketchup and mayonnaise and whatnot. So fuck. Do you know what I mean? So what happens is, like, he's the manager of the club, but the players seem to think that they're bigger than the manager. Let's just play shit, and bye the fans, and just start turning on the manager, and it's just wrong, because I think Di Canio and that was a decent manager, because it's strange how you go from really playing brilliant football to utter shite, and it's the same what's going on with Lee Johnson at the minute. You know, we've played superb at the beginning of the season. I say superb, I'll rephrase that. We were winning games, and we were a lot better than what we were, because there was a few games that I thought we were still pretty poor even though we won. But anyway, and the pattern's starting again with Lee Johnson, isn't it? It's like something's gone on in that dressing room which has really pissed the players off. And once again, we'll just get rid of Johnson, we'll just not fucking play. Shite with the supporters turning up and paying the money and leaving the comfort of their own homes. If the players just didn't want a manager, they'll just not play. Then the fans get on the manager back and say it's time to leave Johnson again, and then the cycle starts again. You get somebody else in, the manager upsets a player or two. You know what I mean? The players spit the dummy out, they get together, we'll just play shite again, get this manager out. And until the manager has more protection, it's never gonna stop. This managerial merry-go-round isn't gonna stop. And it's the same right across the board in football, and the Premier League, the lot. You know, I mean, look at what happened to Chelsea that time when they were like in the relegation zone, because Mourinho had really pissed off the team. They just gang up together, and the players didn't get punished. And until that is changed or sorted out, or the manager gets backing from the owners or whatever, and says to the players, well, if you didn't like it, you just don't play. But instead, the players whinge like big babies. I don't like this the way the manager spoke to me, and I don't like this because the manager shouted at us. I don't like this because the manager blanked us. I don't like this because the manager didn't want me to put red sauce on my chips and all that. I'm not playing in this. Because the players know they can get away with it, absolutely scot-free. You know, we don't, on social media and all that, do we? We didn't sit down and go, Gooch out, McGeady out, or Nain out, or the players' names needs to go, or get rid of all. It's everybody just seems to focus on the manager, and that's why they're just didn't last 5 minutes. They've got it too easy. Footballers have just got it too easy. I mean, when a manager signs a 3-year contract, it means jack shit. It means absolutely nought. Manager signs a 3-year contract, it's on average they're gone 8 months later. You know, but footballers have just got it too easy. It's like, why should they play? They get paid still. If they didn't like the manager, why should they play? Why should they do well? Yes, I know, because, you know, they've got the fans to think about, but yet again, do they think about the fans? You know, they're just not arsed, are they? They're not bothered about likes of me and you. They're, you know, they're getting their wages, no matter if they're injured or whatever. They're just, it must be great going to work and just say, well, I'm going to be shit today, but I know I'll be alright, because I'll not get the flack for it. And that's why football teams, including Sunderland, are in this managerial roundabout. And until that changes, or until you get really lucky and you get a manager that has got good management skills, because as we know, it's not all about just tactical genius. You've got to be a genius in babysitting these players. You know what I mean? Looking after dressing rooms, like walking on broken eggshells. You know, you've got to be so careful, because if you upset one, it's like putting a bad apple in a fucking basket of fruit. The whole lot cans off and you're fucked. There's nothing you can do. So you've got to, for a manager, you've got to have that balance of getting on with the players. And with me, I think Lee Johnson, that's what's happened. He's upset some players somewhere along the lines, as people keep talking about somewhat happened after the QPR game or whatever, and all the dressing rooms just turned bad against him. And it's wrong, because if that's the case, then the board or whoever should turn around and say it to the players, well, here, sort yourselves out or you're away. You know, he's your manager, you know, but it's not going to be, is it? But anyway, that's my riff-raff over what I think about the reason why you're just on a continuous Groundhog Day on managers until that changes. Now, will it? But until it does, then until you're very lucky and you get a manager, as I said before, that's we've got the Goldilocks zone that can sort things out in the dressing room and on the pitch. It's just going to continuously happen. We'll see you later. Toodaloo!